Look at the length of this braid. It falls past the waist, thick as a rope. It belongs to a black woman photographed at 68 years old. Not one thin patch, not one bare edge along the hairline. Her name was Miss Agatha. And here is the part nobody in a store will ever tell you. Miss Agatha never bought a single bottle that promised to grow hair. No serum, no treatment, no stylist standing over her, no heat every morning, no chemical to burn it straight. Just a kitchen, a plain wooden comb, and a handful of things that cost pennies. People spent their whole lives asking black women like her one question: how did your hair get so long? And here is the truth almost nobody says out loud. Growing hair was never the hard part. Every head grows hair. The thing the older black woman knew was how to keep it. How to hold on to every inch until it reached the waist. Because hair breaks off far faster than it grows. That was the whole game. Miss Agatha knew 13 ways to keep what her own head was already making, and every single one of them has a plain reason it worked. Once you hear it, we are counting all 13, down to the one belief that held everything else together. Welcome to Ageless Luminance, the space for women in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond, who believed the wisdom of the women who raised us was never behind the times. It was simply overlooked. Subscribe right now and turn on your notification bell, and drop a comment telling us where you are watching from today. We love knowing our sisters are out there. Stay close with me. The last one is the one that made every other thing possible. Number 13. She never once put a comb to dry hair. Not ever. She wet it down first, every single time. A little water from the basin or a touch of oil for slip, and only then the comb. Dry hair looks just fine sitting still. The trouble comes the second the comb goes in. Here is what nobody in the store will tell you. Coily hair, bone dry, is stiff as a dry twig, and a dry twig snaps. Every dry stroke was breaking off the very length she was trying to grow. The detangling sprays they sell for that now run $12 and $15 a bottle. Miss Agatha used a cup of plain water from the tap. Here is why it works. Water makes the strands soft and stretchy. A wet strand bends around the comb and springs back instead of breaking. So nothing snapped off, and every inch she grew, she got to keep. That is the whole difference between hair that grows and hair that stays. Number 12. It was not just when she combed it, it was what she combed with. Miss Agatha would not let a metal comb near her head, only wood. She kept one wide wooden comb worn smooth with the years. The drugstore was full of little metal combs, cheap and on every counter. She left them right there on the shelf. And she was right to. Look close at a metal tooth, and it has tiny rough edges like a saw. Those edges catch the strand and tear it. And metal drags up static that snaps the fine hairs clean off. A wooden tooth is smooth all the way down. Wood holds no static at all. The seamless combs they sell for that now cost $20 and $30 a piece. Miss Agatha paid next to nothing for hers once and used it for 30 years. Here is why it works. Smooth wood slides through instead of tearing. No snag, no static, no snapping. So the hair came through the comb whole every single time, and the length stayed right on her head. Quick pause, one breath only. Everything on this list came from our women, the black women who knew and were never thanked. Your own grandmother was probably one of them. So stay close. Like this video and subscribe to Ageless Luminance if you have not already. Now, back to the countdown. Number 11. And this one, people still watch with their mouths open. On wash night, Miss Agatha sat down with her hair twisted into sections. Then, she ran a flame quickly down each twist just along the very ends. A soft crackle, a thread of smoke, and the frayed tips were gone. There is a real reason behind the flame. A split end is a strand that has come apart like a frayed rope tip. Left alone, that split climbs higher and higher up the strand and steals the whole length. The quick flame sealed the raw tip shut, the way you seal the cut end of a rope. The salons that do a proper trim for that now charge $30 and $40 a visit. Miss Agatha used a penny candle from the kitchen drawer. Here is why it works. A sealed end cannot fray, and a strand that cannot fray cannot split its way up. So, the split stopped dead right there at the tip, and all the length underneath it was safe. Number 10. Before bed, she never left her hair loose to fight the pillow all night. She parted it into neat sections. Then, she wound each section from root to tip with a length of plain black thread. Wrapped tight and smooth, the whole head laid down flat for the night. It stretched the hair out long without a lick of heat. And here is the part that saved the length. Loose hair rubs on the pillow all night. That rubbing is what wears the ends away to nothing. Thread-wrapped hair cannot rub, cannot tangle, cannot knot itself up while she slept. The heatless stretching kits they sell for that now run $25 and up. Miss Agatha used a spool of thread out of the sewing basket. Here is why it works. No friction all night means no breakage by morning. So she woke with the very same length she went to bed with, night after night after night. Stop here for just a second. Do you see what these women were really doing all along? Not one of these things came from a store. Not one had a label. The comb never used dry, the candle at the ends, the thread at night. An older black woman was keeping her hair whole with the plainest things in the house. And the closer we get to number 1, the plainer it all becomes. The hair was never once bought. It was kept on purpose by hand. Number 9. Every few nights Miss Agatha did something that looked plain strange. She hung her head down low past the edge of the bed toward the floor for a few slow minutes at a time. Then she sat back up, wrapped her hair, and went off to sleep. The children watching her were sure she had lost her mind. The older women knew exactly what she was doing. The root of every single hair is fed by the blood underneath the scalp. Hanging the head down sends a rush of that blood straight to the roots. The scalp massagers they sell to do that now run $100 and more. Miss Agatha used the edge of her own bed and a few spare minutes. Here is why it works. A well-fed root grows a thicker, stronger hair. So the new growth came in full instead of thin right there at the source. And a strong hair is a hair that does not break on its long way down to the waist. Number 8. In the pantry, right next to the flour, sat a little box of Knox gelatin. Most people stirred it into a cold dessert. Miss Agatha stirred it into her hair. She melted a spoon of it in warm water, poured it through slowly, let it sit a while, and rinsed it out clean. It sounds like nothing at all. It was one of the strongest things she ever did. Hair is made almost entirely of protein, and so is that plain box of gelatin. She was feeding the strand the very thing it is built from. That protein sinks down into the weak, thin spots and fills them back in. The bond-building treatments they sell for that now run $30 and up, Miss Agatha paid a dime for a box that lasted her months. Here is why it works. Protein fills the gaps and thickens the strand from the outside in. So, a fine, weak hair came out fuller and far harder to snap, and a hair that will not snap is a hair that just keeps getting longer. When I first started looking into all of this, I kept waiting for the trick, the one bottle, the one thing you simply had to go out and buy. It never came. Every answer was already right there in the house. The gelatin in the pantry, the nettle by the fence, the cornmeal in the tin. The women who came before us were not missing a single thing. They had it all along. Number 7. Along the back fence, the nettle grew wild and free. Miss Agatha cut it with a glove on her hand, boiled it down, and let the dark tea cool. Then she poured that nettle tea over her scalp after a wash. No money ever changed hands for it. It grew like a weed right outside the door. Most people walked straight past it as a nuisance to be pulled up and thrown away. The older black women knew it was full of a mineral called silica. Silica is the very thing that makes a strand strong and springy instead of limp and weak. It is the same mineral they now bottle and sell as a hair supplement. Those pills run $20 and $30 for one little jar. Miss Agatha pulled hers up out of the ground for nothing at all. Here is why it works. Silica builds the strand thicker and gives it its spring. A springy strand bends under strain instead of breaking clean off. So, the hair took the daily wear and kept right on holding its length. Number 6. She did not wash her hair the moment it got a little oily. She reached for the cornmeal. She shook a little dry cornmeal along the part, worked it in with her fingers, let it sit a minute, and combed it right back out with the wooden comb. The oil and the dirt came away with the cornmeal. No water ever touched the hair. It kept her from washing too often, and that was the whole point of it. Every real wash strips away the scalp's own oil, the best conditioner ever made. The black women who understood this knew a dry cornmeal cleaning saved that precious oil. The dry shampoos they sell to do that same job now run $15 a can. Miss Agatha used a spoon of cornmeal out of the tin on the shelf. Here is why it works. It cleans the scalp without stripping the oil that guards the strand. So, the hair stayed clean and still stayed coated in its own protection. And a protected strand is a strand that holds its length instead of drying out and breaking off. Number 5. Miss Agatha never once owned a brush. She took her hair apart with her own 2 fingers. She started at the very ends and worked slowly up toward the root, never the other way. Never a hard pull from the scalp on down. It took patience, sitting of an evening, working out each little knot by feel. Here is what she understood that most people still get wrong today. Every knot sits down at the ends, the oldest part of the hair. Rip a comb down from the roots and it slams every one of those knots into a snap. Start at the ends and each knot lets go softly with almost nothing lost. The wide detangling tools they sell for that now run $20 and up. Miss Agatha used the 10 fingers she already had. Here is why it works. A knot comes apart from the bottom, never from the top. So the tangle slid loose instead of tearing the strand clean in 2. And hair that comes apart clean is hair that stays long. Number 4. She washed her hair once every 2 weeks, no more than that. She did not stand underwater every single day. The black women who came before us knew something the shampoo makers would much rather you forget. Every single wash strips the scalp of the oil it makes on its own, and that oil is the finest conditioner your head will ever produce for free all day and all night. Wash it away each morning and the hair goes dry, then brittle, then it breaks off. The shampoo aisle is worth billions of dollars a year now. Miss Agatha used a bar of plain soap twice a month and not a thing besides. Here is why it works. Left alone, the scalp's own oil runs down and coats every strand. A coated strand stays soft and bends instead of snapping. So 2 weeks of her own oil working the whole time kept the length right there on her head. Number 3, and this is the one people always get backwards. Miss Agatha owned a pressing comb. Yes, but she almost never once used it. It came off the shelf for church on Sunday and for nothing else in between. The rest of the week she let her hair be soft and unpressed because heat is the fastest way there is to break a whole head of hair. Every press dries it out and burns the strand a shade thinner each time. The flat irons and the treatments to fix the damage they create are a whole industry now. The older black women simply kept the heat off 6 days out of every 7. Here is why it works. Less heat means less damage, plain and simple. 6 days of rest for every 1 day of heat let the hair hold itself together, so it stayed strong and long. And on Sunday, it pressed out and shone all the way down the pew. Number 2, Miss Agatha kept a little almanac on a nail by the kitchen door. She would not cut her ends on just any afternoon. She waited for the days the book called right. Now, a scientist will tell you plain that the moon does not touch your hair. That is fair, but look closely at what she was really doing. She trimmed on a set day on purpose, and she never once let it go too long between. A little off the frayed ends stops one split from climbing up and wrecking the whole length. The salon charges $30, $40, $50 for that same little trim. Miss Agatha did it herself by the book hanging on the nail. Here is why it works. It was never the moon, it was the routine. A small, steady trim keeps every split caught before it can steal your length. So, the ends stayed whole, and whole ends are the only ends that reach the waist. Number 1. And this one was never a thing you could buy in any store. Miss Agatha never once believed her hair could not grow. Nobody ever made her feel that it was too coarse, too thick, or too much to bother with. She looked at what her own head made, and she called it good right from the start. That one belief is the reason for every other thing on this whole list, because a black woman who thinks her hair cannot grow will stop tending to it. She will hide it, fight it, and finally give up on it for good. Miss Agatha did the exact opposite. She fed it, kept it, and waited on it. And here is why it worked when nothing in a bottle ever could. Care is the one thing no store has ever managed to sell you. The black women who came before us knew that. It cost them nothing, and it gave them everything. Your hair was never the problem. It was only ever waiting to be kept. Look at that braid one more time. 68 years old, and it hangs down past the waist. Not one single thing that grew it came from a store. Not one. A wooden comb, a candle at the ends, a spool of thread by the bed, nettle from the fence, cornmeal from the tin, 2 bare hands and a patient heart. Miss Agatha is gone now. But the braid is still here in a photograph, and the knowledge of how it was done handed down at the kitchen table is here too, right now in this video. If this warmed you and if you want to carry it forward, do 2 small things. Hit like and subscribe to Ageless Luminance so more of this can be found and shared. We are here every single week for women exactly like you, honoring the wisdom that was handed to us and putting it back where it belongs. Take good care of the hair you were given. It was never the problem. Until next time, hold your head high, tend to what you were given, and carry yourself like the timeless, magnificent woman you have always been.